Welcome, everybody. This is our first episode of Talks Cheap Podcast with your host, DEA 4831 and Stevie Ray. How's it going, my brother?
What's good, man? What's good?
It hasn't been that long since we've been planning this, so looks like everything's coming together. So this is our first episode, and I know we talked a little bit about who's going to do the interview, so we want to start this first episode with an interview. So we basically flipped a coin, and we're going to interview Stevie Ray first, right?
Sounds good.
So I guess as far as interviews, have you ever done like an interview like this before?
You know what? I've done them for Bay Underground and what was the other shit? Sickness. I did it for Sickness and Bay Underground a long time ago. Yeah, but I've never done like a face-to-face interview, just like motherfuckers sending questions and then I send them back.
Well, Bay Underground and Sickness, those are old school forums back in the day. Bay Underground used to promote everybody back in the day, right?
Yeah, they were dope. They're a good company. They supported independent and big artists.
So you've been in the game for a minute then.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you can say that now. Yeah.
As far as getting into the music, I guess let's start from back in the days and talk about young Stevie Ray growing up and like where are you originally from?
Salinas. I was born in Tividat Hospital in 93.
Damn, so 90s, growing up in the 90s in Salinas?
Mm-hmm.
So if people don't know too much about that, Salinas is a bit of it has a lot of history, right?
Oh, yeah, man. A lot of different ways. You got everything from John Steinbeck to, everybody knows about, well, if you don't know that, there's a big gang background there too. And, me personally, I never gang banged, but like, it's something you're going to have to deal with. You know what I mean? No matter who you are, you can be the nerdiest motherfucker you're going to know. It's a little dangerous out there and whatnot. But, yeah, Salinas is cool, man. We call it the Salad Bowl because it's just a little town that's literally surrounded by fucking fields. All your vegetables come from out there. It's highly Mexican oriented, and yeah, that's Salinas, man, in a nutshell.
Growing up there, what was your experience growing up back then in the 90s?
I'll just tell you really how it was. For me, at least, it was just, it went from marbles to Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Pokemon cards, fucking Super Nintendo, shit like that. Just like every other place. But out of nowhere, my own people didn't start liking me because I didn't speak Spanish right. You know what I mean? And that causes conflict between people. And that's basically how I grew up from the youngest age was, I don't want to get too political, but I would definitely have to say, there's a lot of racism internally when it comes to Chicanos. And one thing that they don't like are Mexicans that don't speak Spanish. You know what I mean? So that was a big thing that I had to deal with. People not liking me for that reason. And yeah, man, that was really the young life. And it came from, like I said, riding bikes, it was still that era, I was right before the internet, you know what I mean? So like the internet was starting right when I was like in high school, it was popping. I'm lucky and I was able to do the whole riding bikes and fucking playing in the dirt and shit like that. You know what I mean? I'm thankful for that. Because I feel like you scrape your knee, you know what I mean? You're a little more than a man, you know what I mean, than some of the people that grow up with just tablets, and playing outside was a little bit more rough, but a lot more fun in my opinion. But yeah, that was basically growing up. It was mainly fun, but like I said, there was the bullshit once again, entwined with gangs. But besides that, hey man, I lived just like everybody else. A lot of good game systems. We had Super Nintendo, N64, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2. We had all the good shit. So yeah, that was basically my life growing up.
For sure. And so just to kind of follow up on some of that. So you mentioned marbles. Are you mean like literally like the marbles?
Oh yeah.
So I think when I was like really young, like we found some marbles. I never personally got into that, but do you know what pogs are? Pogs?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, so I would say that's kind of like what I would equivalent to maybe marbles, but we used to play in school and it was where you would get a slammer and you would just, whatever you could flip and whoever won, you just take all of them basically.
Gotcha.
I don't know if that's how you were supposed to do it, but I ended up just with like a slammer and a couple of pogs and ended up with the whole case. And my parents were just like, how'd you get those? And I'm just like, and I explained it to them and they're like, so you guys basically gamble at school? And I'm like, whoa, hey, well, basically, yeah.
Those were dope, bro. I remember having a whole bunch of cool ones. That was the cool shit about it is who was on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I don't remember too much about it because I was probably like 30. Hey, that was like 100 years ago. But
Yeah.
hey, that was like a million years ago. But how does that differ than marbles?
It's the same type of shit.
Yeah.
Marbles was more just like, it's very simplistic. You know, you just fucking, you dig a hole with your hands, shit, and then, and just in a fucking dirt field, and then you just try to shoot the fucking marble in there, you know what I mean? And if I win, we could play, it's the same shit. You gamble, you know, it's basically child gambling, but like, it's like the same shit. If I win that match and I get in the hole first, then I win, and I could take your marble for playing like that. If not, I'll smack your shit and I'll just break your fucking marble. That's basically how we would play back in the day. It was fun, bro. But yeah,
Damn.
that was I went to Al Gabalin Elementary School. I'm not sure if you know where that was.
I mean, I could Google it.
Yeah,
I could Google map it.
It's off of North Main, bro.
Hey, anybody ever cry when you break their marble though? You break their
Fuck
favorite
yeah,
marble?
bro. We were little kids. People get pissed, bro. Man, people get pissed.
Well, another interesting thing that you said was you talked a little bit about being Hispanic and not speaking Spanish, which do you speak Spanish at all or just not as fluent?
Nah, hell no. I don't speak Spanish. The thing is about that too, what people don't understand is, because, you know, like everybody, if you're Hispanic shit, you know, because, you know, like in the Selena movie, remember she's talking, I'm sure you've seen it. I'm not sure if you have, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, where she does, it appears that she doesn't speak Spanish, but
And
then
remember,
she
she's
makes
having issues
Spanish
in the movie.
music.
Remember, she's having issues with in the movie and shit. You know, Edward James almost tells her, you know, it's really hard. You gotta be more American than the Mexican Americans. You gotta be more Mexican than the Mexicans from Mexico.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It kind of runs into that shit. You know what I mean? And it was a tough thing, but the thing people don't understand, for me at least, was it's because my grandma and my grandpa, they old. You know what I mean? They're already. My grandma, she has like dementia and shit now. She's almost 90. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And her thing was, I'm not going to teach you Spanish because in the 50s and shit, like the late 40s and the 50s, when we grew up, if you knew Spanish, they looked down upon you. So she didn't want me to go through that. So she didn't teach my dad Spanish for that same reason, you know what I mean? Which I do respect, you know, 150%, you know, Mexican families where they're like trying to pass over the lineage, you know what I mean? That's what's up. Like, I wish I knew Spanish, but like, I do, you know, they still got to understand like where we came from, where it was hard, you know, for, cause you know, I come from straight up a farmer background, you know, Northern California farmers and shit like that. So if you knew Spanish, you were looked down upon. You weren't, you know what I mean? You weren't full American, you know what I mean? So regular Americans would look down upon you in the 40s and 50s. So she never taught us that shit. That was the only reason why I don't know Spanish. Like, people in my family, of course, know Spanish, but they didn't want to pass it down to us for that reason. They didn't want us to get hit with all the racism, which that's not how it works now. If you know Spanish, you're going to get a better job.
Yeah.
Life's probably going to be a little bit easier for you.
Yeah, it's a skill. You're going to get a little bit more money per hour or on your salary.
No doubt.
You just that might be the difference of you getting that job or not.
Exactly.
So the other thing you mentioned as far as video games. So you mentioned Super Nintendo?
Bro, I don't play around with the video. When I was like fucking, you know what, man? Like, I might get on some weird shit, but people do need to hear this. Is people need to understand that a lot of like people that grew up in bad neighborhoods and shit, their childhood sucked, but there was good parts about it, and we try to look for that shit. You know what I mean? We try to tap into it again.
Yeah.
Somehow find the good time when you're a kid, and I see it in like a lot of my peers, and I see it in Dre Nitty. D-Boy does it. Everybody's reading fucking comic books, into fucking Transformers, collecting figures as grown adults. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, I'm a big, you know what I mean? I'm a big closeted nerd, man. You know what I mean? Like, I got Super Nintendo. I got Nintendo. I got GameCube. I got Wii. I'm just looking at my shit right now. I got the Xbox. I got PlayStation 1 and 2 and 3. Like, I got hella shit.
What's your favorite game on the NES and then also on the Super NES?
Well, NES, probably my favorite game ever is the original Zelda. That shit was fucking crazy. Because he had Mario's cool too.
Are you good at that game?
Fuck yeah, bro.
Dude, I used to play that. I think I've only ever beat it maybe one time.
It's tough. It's tough, but like, yeah.
But once you do it, it's not right.
Once you do it once, you know how to do it. It's just like a little fucking map. You know how it is. It's just kind of like one big circle.
Pre-internet, you used to have to get the. There was like a magazine that comes out and tells you how to do all that.
You
stuff.
talking about Nintendo Power, bro?
Yeah, Nintendo Power.
Yeah, bro.
Hey, dude. Yeah, exactly. Or they had a straight up hotline you could call, and they'll give you
Oh, yeah.
tips where they charge you for that.
Super Nintendo though, shit.
Yeah, Super Nintendo.
That's fucking tough.
It's not if you're a Street Fighter fan. If you're a Street Fighter 2
Yeah,
fan,
you know what? Shit, you might have. Yeah, you could just throw. Yeah, you could throw Street Fighter 2 on there.
hey, if you suck at Street Fighter 2, then
Hell no, bro. I fucking Honda all day though. I use Honda, bro. You know the Japanese cat. Yeah, I fuck people up with him. People don't see it coming, bro. I just Hadoken my ass right through them, bro. Just murder shit. Yeah, Honda's cool, bro. You fuck Street Fighter?
dude, like we used to have all the kids in the neighborhood. Back then, we would have everybody, like we get to either my house, my neighbor's house, whatever, all meet up and play that together. And besides the Super Nintendo, they used to have that at the arcade too. So we would go to the arcade. Well, not necessarily just the arcade, but even like a liquor store. They would have that there, but they would have the crazy hacked versions at the liquor store.
Are you talking about like the turbos and shit?
Some crazy, like my favorite hacked version was one where you could jump in the air and throw like 20 slow motion sonic booms or Hadoukens.
That's fucking stupid. That's cool though.
Dude, imagine though trying to play somebody like, and all you see is just a stream of sonic booms and Hadoukens coming at you in slow motion, filling the screen, and it's constant.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. All right, so that was growing up, and then so at some point you started doing music. So when I met you, you were basically, I think it was for a collaboration on a track or something, right?
Yeah. So basically, oh shit. Well, like, you know, I mean, I could explain it. So, you know, it's an interview, so I'd rather just give you the whole enchilada, if you feel me. But basically, fucking, I was living in Salinas.
Potatoes.
Exactly, the whole kitchen sink. But fucking, I was living in Salinas and shit. My mom and my sister, they moved out to Arizona, and they kind of heard through the grapevine like I was getting into some shit. You know what I mean? I was heavy, like D-boying it. You know what I mean? Thinking I was cool and shit, like I was easy, like a dumbass. You know what I mean? Which I do consider that. You know what I mean? It ain't nothing good coming out of that. Fucking, basically, my sister kind of swindled me and said, you know, I want you to be my best man at my wedding. So I went to her wedding in Las Vegas, and she kind of, you know, she kind of hijacked me, you know what I mean, and took me to Arizona with her. And I lived out there for about like 3 years, and I kind of was working on my craft, and that's where I kind of like started to study shit, learn more about, you know, artists like, you know, shit like DEA or like yourself or like, you know what I mean, anybody really, you know what I mean. That Street Connect documentary helped me out a lot. And what's it called? When I came back, I was ready to do some shit. I was ready to hit it hard, man. I already recorded a whole bunch of shit. And the first two people I hit up were you and Gemini. You hit me back first, and it was for a track. I don't really remember who the guy that made the beat for, but it's called "Slapping the Trunk." You could check it out. DEA, Stevie Ray, "Slapping the Trunk" on YouTube. That was the first collaboration. It was probably around 2014, maybe 2013.
At that point, before that though, before you went to Arizona, did you know any of the artists from out that way?
Yeah, I grew up with a few artists, but they lost their life sadly. I got to give a shout out to my brother. His name was Little Chris. He died. His name's Christian Zamadio. He passed away when he was really young. But besides that, more of the big rappers, you know, I've known Jans. You know what I mean? I know him. I know fucking, I know Kelly. I don't know if you guys know who he is. He's a pretty huge artist. Basically my blood brother. You know what I mean? Tito Loke is huge now. I know him. I've ran into Sandman and Casper. That's really it, though. I didn't. A lot of my favorite artists, like, don't get me wrong, I was a big fan of like Sandman and stuff like that. But a lot of my favorite artists were from the generation right before that, which is more DEA's generation. And I didn't really get to meet too many of them. They were already grown men. You know what I mean? They weren't little kidding it anymore in the streets. So I didn't really get a chance to meet too many of them. But I did meet like Skits. I don't know if people know who he is. He's from Big Spanks and AK's camp. And Little Evil is a legendary rapper. Keyloom too. I met Keyloom one time only, a long time ago. And I can't forget, back in the day, I did know Drew Toxtero, one of my favorite rappers when I was a young kid as well. But that's really it, bro. you just ran into, there was a lot of MCs in Salinas. I don't know what the fuck it was. You know, I wasn't looking like, you know, to meet people. Oh shit, I gotta also, you know, I don't know if I said already, but Big Rome was cool as fuck too. He was family at the time. I haven't talked to him for years, but yeah, at the time he was cool as hell.
Well, that kind of, you know, I guess we should also point out that Salinas itself, it's not a very big city and it's densely populated. So I think, I don't know if it's still that way, but I remember back, I read somewhere that it has the most people per 100,000 or per capita, something like that, whatever that
Crazy.
statistic is. And so basically what I'm trying to say is that anywhere you go, you're going to run into somebody, period.
Yeah.
So, and if you don't know them directly, you know somebody that knows somebody, period.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, me and DEA were actually talking a couple weeks back, and you know, like I ran into Dre Nitty when I was a little kid at the Northridge Mall. He was pushing off Hoodlum CDs, and he I didn't even know who the fuck he was at the time. It was the first time I ever heard of him. He gave me the CD and he actually signed it. I lost it though, you know. Hardships. We lost our storage like 3 times as a kid. So, but yeah, I ran into a couple of other, you know, well, King too. Can't forget about King. I ran into him a couple times because Crawlla and A1 Yola, they would go, and I went with them like maybe 2 or 3 times to hang out and shit like that, and just been around King and Dragon Slayer's dope ass studio and shit like that. That was definitely an experience for somebody that wanted to rap but wasn't quite there yet.
Yeah, for sure. And as far as at that time, so that track, Slapping the Trunk, you had already made tracks though before that, right?
Oh yeah. I had a record. Basically, I made a record label and I was just like, fuck it. And I just put on my brothers. I have 2. They're my brother-in-laws. And I put them on at the time, and they don't rap anymore and shit, but we called it Paybak Muzik. I was the CEO of it, you know what I mean? I was literally just putting on different people in my family. My sister's husband and his 2 brothers, which I've known them since I was like 7 years old. And then my sister, she was singing on shit. So like, yeah, I was doing shit. I even had my mom on some songs, to be honest with you. There's a couple songs. Her name's Renee. If you go back to it's all still up. You know what I mean? I don't erase any of my old shit. It's all still up. And like, so like I did that. And then after that, I just kind of want to do something, make a bigger album. I want to make an album with all the big motherfuckers that I really like. I was heavily into like West Coast Volume 2. You know, that was one big one. Gemini, Casualties of Life, Young Gun, 16 Shots, Block to Block. Like I was just into all that shit. Superior One, Loyalty Without Doubt, Single Parents Home, Mac Music by fucking J Mac. Like I was into that shit big, like more than I think a lot of people were. Like, you know what I mean? I really like that shit. So I wanted to make a compilation that was kind of where I was going to get with it. I really didn't think it was going to happen till like you hit me back and then Gemini hit me back. And I was like, okay, shit, I got 2 people. If I just keep growing the shit. And that was kind of, that was really the reason why I started to hit all you guys up and shit. But it was a far stretch for me. Cause like, I know you guys might not think of it as your guys' self in a certain way, but you guys are definitely legendary cats. So for me, like getting on a track with y'all was just like, fuck, okay. Now I'm getting on a track with somebody that I grew up listening to.
And from there, you stuck with it, and then you went on to make compilations with various artists, mixtapes, at a fast pace too, right?
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna go back just a little bit because I forgot to talk about something. So I gotta talk about Crawlla. See, the thing is about me and Manuel is it's kind of weird, you know. So my sister has a best friend. Her name at the time was we won't say her name because Crawlla is not with her no more. But I met old boy through that. He was going out with her and shit. And me and him together were really we got into that shit together, and we were doing gray tapes. So you know, we were recording gray tapes, and we would we got heavily intoxicated together. We were both very fucking depressed. We kind of came to conclusions to that. Just tapes. You know, like the old tapes, they were gray colored. I forgot the fuck.
So like on an actual cassette tape?
Yeah, a cassette tape.
Okay.
And I had a cassette recorder in my room. My dad was a computer technician at the time, and he would get all kinds of boxes with foam and shit, and I put the foam all in the corner of my room and shit. And I just stuck a microphone right into the foam, like blah, just fucking, you know, foam. You could just break right through the shit.
Hey, and you're like, there's the studio, bro.
Yep, and it was serious, bro. We were serious about that.
Hey,
shit,
that's how it was though back then.
We were serious, bro, and like it was all freestyles. Nobody was writing. You had to be able to freestyle dope or get the fuck out. I lived right
Yeah.
across the street from North High, bro. So it was cool, bro. Right after school, everybody come to my house. We'd all be freestyling, smoke a little bit, whatnot, whatever teenagers do. But it was crazy the way we would do it because we were in the DJ Screw. So we would do it in the format of like having skits. Sometimes we would do like comedy skits. I still remember some stupid ass ones we would do. You know what I mean? And then we would like freestyle rap over in between. It was a whole fucking production. You know what I mean? But I would have to say that is the earliest of my shit. And that was like when I like started to hone in my shit. Before that, it was just me writing all the time, being fucking addicted to writing poems. But besides that, it was like the epitome. Crawlla taught me actually how to write 16s. I didn't know how to do that. He taught me how to count my shit. You know what I mean? So I definitely have to give a shout out to my boy Crawlla.
Yeah, for sure. And I never did anything with him until I started working with you. And indirectly, I think we have a couple of tracks with me, you, and Crawller on there, right?
Yeah, we just dropped a new one too called Pot of Gold. Check it out, y'all. It's a pretty good one. It's on the free mixtape.
And how would you describe Crawler's style? Because he's definitely got one of the more unique flows, right?
You know what? Crawlla's trippy because it'd be stupid not to say, because there's people that stole my, I like to call him my cousin, but like I knew Yola pretty good, you know what I mean? But the reason why I say that is because me and Crawlla, we were very, very influenced by him. This is a man named A1 Yola. He's a rapper from Castroville. He was from a big ass group called MAK. Mob affiliated killers, and Fury was in there, King was in there, A1 Yola was in there, Capone was in there, Night Train was in there. It was a badass rap group, and Mr. Key would collab with them a lot. But we, straight up, we piggybacked off him. A lot of our style came from him in the early days. You know what I mean? So we both have a little bit of a raspiness going, because that's why I named A1 Yola, because it has something. If you know anything about drugs, you do cocaine, you get like your voice like that, and that's how A1 Yola raps. It's kind of like a Messy Marv type thing, but he was way before Messy.
Hey, we don't know nothing about none of that, folks.
Yeah, we don't know nothing about none of that, boy. Nah, so like that's part of the style. There's a raspiness, but the other thing with Crawlla is he's very, very more Hispanic than me when it comes to like knowing Spanish and shit. So you could definitely hear the Hispanic a lot in his shit too. So that gives him a different element that I think sounds really cool too. And he's really good at lyrics too. You know what I mean? He's a lyrical champion. I would definitely give it to him. He's dope as shit. But yeah, it's definitely a Hispanic feel with a little bit of like a messy growl to it, with some lyrics, you know what I mean, some hard lyrics. Definitely some, he gives a fuck about his craft, you know what I mean? You could tell.
Yeah, I would say all gas, no brakes.
Yeah, we took that shit super serious, man. We studied it like it was like the art should be, motherfuckers should study their art, man, because if you don't know shit from every angle, someone's gonna, like, let's say, here, for example, that's what I'm saying. If I'm in a battle with you and all you ever listen to is Bay Area music and you're freestyling, it's just Bay Area music, I'm gonna come at you like I'm Fat Pat and I'm gonna win because you don't know nothing about it.
Yeah.
So now I have a different rhyme scheme that I could kill you upon that you have no fucking idea about because you're only thinking about one area. So like me and Manuel, that's his name, that's Crawler's real name is Manuel. We would study shit so we could be, have that extra foot on MCs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somebody try to fuck with us, we could chop their head off real quick because we listen to other shit that they're not aware of. You know what I mean? Their rhyme schemes are just one pattern, you know what I mean, where it could be a lot bigger.
Well, we're gonna definitely have to get the homie on here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And have him chop it up, break it down one time.
Yeah, he's a brother from another mother, man. He's a good guy.
So then from there, put out, how many albums and mixtapes did you put around that time?
Yeah, it was like 7 in 7 months, and then it got to we did 10 in 10 months. So I was dropping 10 mixtapes in 10 months. You know what I mean? That was what I was doing. And really, you know what I mean? Really what it was I've always done it where people get pissed off of me because they're just like, bro, you're too good. Like, you shouldn't be dropping free shit. And I'm like, that's fucking dumb, bro. Like, in my opinion, I'm like, drop free shit for the official album. Use promotion. That's what I do. You know what I mean? Like, here's a free fucking album. Now go buy the official album. You know what I mean? That's what I do. And on top of that, it keeps your pen game strong. You know what I mean? If you're only writing to official albums every 5 years, how good is your fucking pen game going to be? You know what I mean? It's either that or you have a notebook full of raps, which I don't really do. I'm not that kind of rapper. Like, when you send me a beat, I'm just going to rap over it right there. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna like, let me go through my fucking indexes and see what I got. Nah, everything I wrote, I recorded. You know, I don't
Yeah.
have no backdrafts. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was 10 in 10 months. And that was pretty crazy, bro. That was pretty fun.
I think there's artists out there that are just not able to create, to create the raps and to be able to write the lyrics. And because it is a talent and it is a lot of effort on the individual part. And then even if you're able to do that, to be able to come up with new ideas, not repetitive, is also a challenge, right?
I'm an indirect writer, so it's easier for me. People that are direct writers, that shit sucks, bro. Like, it's good though. Like, I love it, but it just sucks because it's harder to put out more material. You know what I mean? Because if you're just saying, like, you know what I mean, like, I'm chilling with my bitch and I'm smoking a blunt, you know what I mean, rolling in my car and I don't give a fuck. You already
Yeah.
told them everything you're doing.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say it like that. It would be a lot more different.
So you could basically break that or that one bar into like half a verse or a whole verse, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Or just don't be so indirect. So like people don't know exactly, oh, this song's about love. This song's about the, like, make it more big where like one person thinks the song is about love and another person thinks it's about loving weed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But like that's how just keep making it, which is just tricks I learned from making music with other people. Like my girl, she wants to start writing music, and I was kind of teaching her one of the tricks that I learned from Nice. That is, this is the gem. So motherfuckers, write it down, because this is one of the best things about writing. Is, let's say the song is about I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? The whole song is about I don't give a fuck. You could either write about it like, oh, I don't give a fuck, bitch, I don't love you anymore, something like that. Or you could say, I don't give a fuck around all aspects. So you could be like, I don't give a fuck about anything. Like, I don't give a fuck about cars. I don't give a fuck about anything. You wrote a whole verse about different shit that you're just saying, I don't give a fuck about. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be just one fat ass story. You could just be coming at it from a whole bunch of different angles. That shit will help you write forever off that shit. You know what I mean? Like a song about love. You could like write the song about love, about a woman, like I said, about weed, about the rap game, like all the shit you love, instead of it just being one thing, about your wife. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for
Like,
sure.
you know what I'm saying? Like that's those little tricks. Most of them, like I said, I learned from rapping with other people. You know what I mean? People I looked up to, and I was like, oh shit, okay. I see how you did that. That's fucking smart as shit.
Hey, what's hella funny though is that we were listening to the Fragments album with my family here,
Mhm.
and we're listening to one line you were saying, and we're like, what the fuck is he talking about? How one of it, because you really got to sit there and listen to it, and because if you're listening but not really listening, it just kind of goes over your head.
Dude, I do it on purpose. I like to write indirect. It's cool to me. Like it gets me excited to make the bars like that. You know what I mean? Like just to be like, oh shit, okay, that sounded good with that. That sounded, it rhymed, but you know what I mean? Like fuck that, I'm gonna change that word out. I make music lots of times, like I was telling you about this nowadays, because the fleet of music I want to hear. There's
Yeah,
nothing around anymore. Like the
yeah,
only thing I'm listening to are like when Wu-Tang drops a new album, or fucking like when Quint drops a new album or some shit. I don't know, like I'm still listening to the old motherfuckers because I'm not really into the new cats. For a
yeah,
while they were doing some cool shit, especially in the Hispanic shit, you know what I mean? In Northern California, I was really blown away with a lot of the shit, but I feel like there's no bars, and there also is no style anymore. Like for example, like somebody that you worked with, Laced and Chingazo, they're a good example of that. Those motherfuckers have great cadence. I don't think that exists anymore. That cadence that Laced had in Chingazo, it's pretty fucking unique, and it's very powerful. No effects needed. I mean,
yeah,
that's the thing. Lace sounds like he has effects on his voice. So does Chingazo. Nah, it's just they manipulated their vocal patterns until they're like, this is how I want it to be on a fucking track. Like, you know what I mean? I want it to hit hard. That shit don't exist no more. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the shit I try to look for. But you also have to hit it from all elements. You know what I mean? Like those two cats, like I'm gonna hit them again, is that the thing about them is they were fucking also lyrical, and they also could tell stories, you know what I mean? So they
yeah.
have cadence, they have lyrical ability, they have storytelling ability, like shit, you know what I mean? Like where did that go? Because it's not around anymore. In my opinion, it isn't. No offense to the younger crowd and everything like that, but me myself, I'm not the biggest fan, only because there's no bars in it anymore, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, it seems more and more like what we grew up on is now considered more like classic rock in a sense.
Which is crazy. That's crazy.
It's crazy, right? Because that's like what my dad would listen to, like some old school rock and roll. Which I think that's a perfect way to segment into your background as far as the band and the guitar, because I'm not sure if our viewers know this, but you're actually in a band and you play the electric guitar, and so I think you also play harmonica.
Yes.
And so
Lead
it's
singer too.
and lead singer. So and it's a blues band.
Yes. Blues
And
rock band.
so with that, was that before the rap, or your background with that, or did the rap kind of help you transition into that?
Well, the thing is with that is my grandpa, which I don't like my grandpa, but my grandpa, he is a guitar player. And because of that, it's weird, bro. Like some on my mom's side of the family, almost all the males are guitar players. It's kind of strange. And they say because some shit with like there's Spaniard in our blood, which I don't really fucking know about that. I didn't really like look up on it, but that's what they say. Is I guess Spanish people are really into like playing the guitar and whatnot and shit like that, especially like back in the day, it like runs in their blood. I don't know. My mom's be talking about that, but that's where it comes from. Since the youngest of my shit, it was like my grandpa gave me not a broken guitar, but he gave me a guitar, with no strings. And he was like, one day I want you to play. It always was, I wouldn't want to say pressured, but it was expected for me to start playing the guitar. And playing instruments and be in bands and like, within time you gonna be, it was always like that shit. And I always looked up to my cousin, Mike Delgado, and I came out here, I was going through some shit, kind of broke up with a female at the time, and I went to go kick it with my cousin, and yeah, we made a band. We made a band. We've been doing shit right here, in East Cocoa for a minute. Just it's for a long time now.
Well, with that too. So, does your name stem off of the guitarist
Yes,
Stevie Ray?
my dad named me after Stevie Ray Vaughan.
So you said your grandpa gave you a guitar, and around how old were you when that happened?
So yeah, I probably stopped talking to my grandpa. My family stopped talking to my grandpa probably when I was like 5. So that happened before that. You know what I mean? And then like I tried to play the guitar a bunch of times. But like, I grew up in Salinas. Like, where the fuck are you gonna learn how to play the guitar in Salinas?
Yeah,
Most of the time, most of the people you grow up with, they kind of Latins for some reason they like guitar a lot. I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's because I never really been into Spanish music, but maybe that's the reason why. Fucking yeah, I tried for a minute, and then my dad got me all into that shit. Old school rock and roll. I love a lot of it. I study that shit too. The, he got me a harmonica one day, and I started to go crazy on that. And I was actually naturally good at, which is was pretty cool for me because like I just picked up and I was good at it, and then he just kept buying me more of them. You know what I mean? And then I kind of like jumped over, started playing the guitar too. But actually, my main instrument is harmonica. I kind of play I play a style of harmonicas that's from the 90s. It's blues harmonica. I don't know if anybody's ever seen like what the fuck is that movie called? It's about Chess Records. It's with Beyonce and shit, and they're talking about like the African American blues artists from Chess Records in the 40s. I play like Little Walter. And the cool thing about that is when people think of harmonica, they think of like old Western. Now, I'm talking about dudes that would walk around with 38s in their motherfucking pants, you know what I mean? With brand new suits, you know what I mean? Like it's a lot different. There's no Western about this shit.
yeah,
It's almost like a higher standard, like where jazz is. You know what I mean? So when I'm able to play the harmonica for people, they don't know what the fuck I'm doing. They're like, "What the fuck is that?" Because they just think that harmonica is a toy, which it's not if you know what you're doing. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But yeah, that was basically it. And then one of my buddies passed away. My dad's buddies passed away, and that kind of fucked me up. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start diving back into the guitar, and I started getting good at the guitar again. And then, yeah, man, like I said, me and my cousin, we made that band together, Soundstar. We've been going, it hasn't been like too long when it comes to shows, but like now I would say damn near almost 5 years now. But like, we keep growing, we keep getting new venues and whatnot. I actually have to perform fucking tomorrow. So I really wanted to tackle this interview too, because, I knew tomorrow I'm going to have to fucking go do some shit. Only an hour long though. Normally it's 4-hour shows. So
Damn.
that's a little tough.
Yeah. And so you guys go out and do like a whole show, huh?
Yeah, 4-hour shows, bro.
And
But I
then
get
what
paid,
songs do you play? Do you play like covers or do you do original or both?
both, because I love to write, and so like both. And then like when I got my cousin, he was like, "Oh, this riff's cool," and is rap music, like people look down upon rap music for some dumbass reason. You know what I mean? Like they're the best writers ever.
Yeah.
Even David Bowie said it, bro. You know what I mean? Even Jimmy Page said it. Those guys are cajillionaires off their music. You know what I mean? And fucking the thing is that helped me out because my cousin, he would just play a lick on the guitar, and I'll be like, "Oh shit, okay, I can write to this." It's just like writing rap music.
Yeah.
And like it's less bars. You know what I mean? You don't write as much when it comes to rock or blues music. It's a lot less. Like, you
Yeah.
have to say a lot in a 16. It's not 16. Normally it's broken down into eights. So
Yeah.
it's 8 and then, a 4-bar hook and then an 8. And that's normally what it is. But yeah, we mainly do originals. We do a lot of originals, but it's a lot of covers too. Covers from like I was saying earlier, we do Stevie Ray Vaughan, we do Hendrix, we do some Little Walter, some Muddy Waters, a lot of blue shit. Shit like
Interesting
that.
that probably a lot of people that listen to our music for the rap side probably don't know any of those people you just mentioned, huh?
Nah, they don't. And you know what? It's because they're fucking, I don't know what the fuck it is, bro. Everybody only likes, like, everybody that comes from the ghetto, they only like, it's kind of strange, bro. I'm not really sure what happened. I'm not really sure how it pivoted in people, but like they only listen to selective artists. Like they're gonna go to a
Yeah.
freestyle concert, they're gonna do this, that, and that, but like you gotta broaden your horizons, man. Like, damn, like you remember like that clip that we had in the Life's Cheap. Like, you remember when Bruce Lee was talking about being shapeless, you know what I mean? Like shit like that, you know what I mean? Like, and the thing is about it is too, with those artists that I mentioned, the thing that was cool about it to me is my dad, he was feeding me like Led Zeppelin and shit like that. I would listen to it and I would be like, this is badass. Like, damn, their performance is crazy. Like, it's difficult to do. That's the thing with me. If it's difficult to do, it's gonna gain my attention. It's hard, you know what I mean? But I was like, but they're talking about white shit in Britain. I couldn't get with it. You know what I mean? Like I loved it, you know what I mean? I still love it. Led Zeppelin's one of my favorite bands, you know what I mean? And shit, and like, Black Sabbath, all that type of shit. But I couldn't get with it. It wasn't until I ran into blues and I was like, oh shit. Okay, so there's music where they play guitar and play like live instruments, but they talk about shit that like we kind of more know. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Poverty
for sure.
shit. You know what I mean? Not like just Lord of the Rings type stuff, which that's cool too. Like I said, I'm not judging it, but for me, the blues was closer because it was just the same shit that I was going through. You know
So
what I
you
mean?
can
It was
relate
the
to it better,
same stuff. Yeah, exactly. I could relate
more
to it.
relatable.
Exactly.
So with that, at some point though, you took a bit of a break from rapping.
Yeah, the main reason, I'm lucky, bro, because well, first off, you were actually the first one to help me without even knowing it, but we dropped Octo Hustle, right? The Octo
Yeah.
Hustle with me on it. And it took a little while for you to do it, and I was already on the break right then. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
then you dropped that, and then I was like, cool, I have that in the pocket. And then I sent Lexo who knows how many songs, you know what I mean? And he was just dropping track after track. So it kind of didn't seem like I took a break, but basically I took a break for about 10 years because um I just didn't like hip hop. I just didn't like how rap was. I just was just like, this shit is whack. Like all my favorite rappers aren't even rapping anymore.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, what the fuck is the point? But then I came back, you know what I mean? I was like, well, the point is at least you're still doing it. Like at least you're still, you know what I mean? It's not like, oh, well, you're the last motherfucking of the Mohicans, but I could do my part. You know what I mean? I could
Yeah,
do
for
my
sure.
part. I could throw my little 2 cents in there. But yeah, it was about 10 years. I stopped rapping, but nobody noticed because I had shit like Darkroom dropped 2 tracks of me. You dropped the album. Lexo dropped like 3 albums. So it really didn't seem like I went anywhere.
I would say since we lost the Jacka, I would say music in general, I think that was probably like one of the last ones from our generation.
1,000%, bro. I already know what you're gonna say. 1,000 fuck, especially in the Bay. I even say it in the new Fragments album. I said, what I say, Jackie gave bars to the Bay when the Bay was starving. I'm
Yeah.
talking about, you know what I mean? There it goes with the indirect. Like, what the fuck is he talking about? I'm talking about because there wasn't anybody that was lyrical. People
Yeah.
sound like shit to me. Like, people were rapping, and I was just like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, they're not even trying. But Jacka was still killing it. Jacka was still just as lyrical as anybody, you know what I mean? Killing it, bro. You know what I mean? From all angles. I'm a huge Mob Figures fan because like I said, I never gangbang, but I was heavily into like, you know, at one time when I was a dumbass little kid, you know what I mean? I thought I was something special. Fucking, I was into D-boying, you know what I mean? I was like, you know, that's what I'm gonna be, you know, because you kind of got to choose in Salinas, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or you just stay inside your fucking house. But yeah, so I was a huge fan of all them, bro. They're all sick, you know what I mean? I met FedEx one time. He's a cool ass dude too. He's a badass rapper too. But yeah, Jacka was monster, bro. When he died, I agree 100%. A lot, the Bay Area, in my opinion, wasn't able to bounce back musically. I don't think anybody has came out where I'm like, holy shit, this is where it's at.
What I seen when he passed away is that there was a void in the Bay Area, and I don't think that void has been filled since then. And it shifted. It shifted too because it opened the doors for. In other words, it opened the doors for people that weren't able to necessarily get their
With
foot in the
themselves.
door. And for better or worse, right? And that's
100%.
just kind of like my perspective on that.
100%. No, 100%. That's funny because I feel the same way. When Jack died, I was like, shit. And then like I was kind of right in the fact that like it's been hard to bounce back. Because the Bay is bad as fuck when they start rapping good. Like
Yeah.
people from Fillmore and like fucking Vallejo. Vallejo's ridiculous, you know what I mean? But like, I don't know. It's not their fault. It's kind of just like rap in general, you know what I mean? Because like Central Coast is doing that shit just as much, you know what I mean? Nowadays it's like it's kind of like people aren't rapping. Like the thing is where people get lost on, like what I was saying earlier, is like, you know, you should learn different angles, but you shouldn't just rap like you're from the South if you're in fucking, you know, San Francisco. You know what I mean? That's one thing that kind of hurt the shit, is that a lot of people just start rapping like all like each other. You know what I mean? Like the East Coast sounds badass when they're rapping
Yeah.
East Coast with
Yeah.
all that lyrical shit. In the Bay, they have the swag, bro. They have all the style, they have all the game, you know, and then, you know, LA's, you know, doing what they do, you know what I mean? They got like the originality, you know what I mean? The sound, you know, the Snoop sound and, you know, the Ice Cube sound and all that shit and the Sugar Free sound, you know what I mean? It's more flavor, but like you can't lose that and then you're gonna start losing originality, you know what I mean? Like you gotta remember
Yeah,
where
for
you're
sure.
from. People like to hear that shit, like, oh shit, okay, he's representing where he's from.
So from there though, with all that, most recently we're able to collab on an album, and I was really excited to really get some material on the new stuff. And so that's around the time where you were like, oh, let's do the EP. And I was still a little bit reluctant because it's a big commitment and a lot of work to do, you know, to make more than a few tracks. But from there, just want everybody to know that that kind of snowballed into a whole 21 track album. And it went from doing just those one or two tracks to let's do an EP. All right, let's see how that goes. And then we had like 12 songs, and we're like, all right, well, you want to do 15 or 18? I was like, all right, sure. And then at that point, it was like, hey, let's just do 21 songs, because I had like 2 or 3 beats that I really liked that I wanted to use for that project that, you know, I didn't want to just like not use at that point.
Yeah, you know what's dope too about your production too, bro, is well, there's a lot of dope shit. But I know I don't want to be a dick, but sometimes people that produce, not Lexo, but of course not Lexo, that's you know, he's my dog. A lot of producers that send me shit. As an artist, I was scared, it ain't the right word, but you know what I mean, I have to look back at it because sometimes, lots of times, it doesn't inspire me. You know what I mean? And then I'm forcing myself to write. You know what I mean? And that sucks. You know what I mean? And with your shit, I never really have to. I think it's because I don't know, bro. Maybe because you make shit a little bit different than a lot of people from the coast. And I think maybe it's that Bay blood you have in you. I don't know what the fuck it is, but your beats are very slapping. They're Bay shit. Like it makes me feel like I'm on like Bullies with Foolies or some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when I'm writing to it, it's just like, oh, this is easy. Like I feel like it's like a glove. Like it's something that I already know, like and I love. It's easy for me to rap on you. A lot of people know that shit too. Like, you know, a lot of MCs, you know, are talking about your production, you know what I mean, a lot. You know what I mean? Fucking Crawlla, Nice, a lot of rappers like your shit for that
Hey,
reason.
because you hear it, right? But
Slapping, bro.
the problem I've always had being a producer is, and this is why I always have no issues working with you, for example, is because the number one issue I have as a producer is when you could have like 20, 30, 100 beats, you could show it to all of those to an artist, and then they say, well, I'm more looking for something like this. And I'm like, okay,
For real. Like, go to the mechanics or go to Tracks a Million with that. See what they say. You know what I mean? Like, they ain't gonna be too happy. I 100% understand that. Cause like the thing is too about the people I'm blessed to work with, producing wise, I'm hella fucking lucky because I got you, I got Lexo, I got DJ Mix and Spin, which DJ Mix and Spin sounds different than both of you guys. You guys sound different than each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's cool because I could come at it from like different shit. If I'm making a Lexo album, I would say that it's more like a dark, funky album. He makes dark, funky beats. If I'm on like some shit with you, it sounds like some straight up like dope ass Bay Area shit. Like in my opinion, that's exactly what it's just some sick ass Bay shit. It's gonna make you want to dance. You know what I mean? If I'm writing on a mix and spin beat, it sounds like old ass Central Coast shit. You know what I mean? That's just what it sounds. You know what I mean? So it's dope to be able to tap into all three of them and just have them, you know what I mean? When they
Have
bless
that
me with beats and
variety.
shit, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Mix and Spin. He's on his grind all the time. And shout out to fucking Lexo Seal.
With this last album though, what was your experience from your perspective though, working on this album though? Because you only see it, I only see it from my perspective, like I send you the beats, you send me back the verses, and then I'm sending you a copy back like, oh yeah, this is it, and then telling you to check for whatever errors or revisions we need. And then coming back after that and being like, oh yeah, but I'm still not happy with that. And then, as you know, I remixed the thing probably like 8 or 9 times, right? So
Probably
from
more
your,
than that.
yeah,
I'll
from your
probably say like 12
perspective,
times.
yeah. So from your perspective, how was it? Like, what was it like making that album in general?
Well, first off, I just want to say, well, shit, I'll leave that for your interview. I was going to say some shit about you that, you know what? I'll just throw it out there. From the grapevine, bro, you know what I thought? Because, I never really, we chopped it up before, but not like in person, kind of like this. I mean? We've
Yeah,
just been more exclusive to making music. You know what I mean? And here and there, about dumb shit, on Messenger and whatnot. But what I thought that you would help cats out. Like, this is what, like, the legendary DEA fucking thing. This is kind of funny, bro. You would help cats out, and then you would be like, Deuce. You know what I mean? That's what I saw from the grapevine that you did with other artists. And I was always kind of like, damn, that would suck if he did that shit to me. You know what I mean? Because we made albums together and shit like that. So I was always kind of like, I wanted to make Life's Cheap too. You know what I mean? So I would like hit you up here and there, you know what I mean? But I knew lots of the times it wasn't good timing, but I knew that you fuck with me tough because you would have me make whole albums for Breathe Records. You know
yeah,
what I mean? So I knew that. I was actually pretty hyped. You know what I mean? Because I've been wanting to make some new shit with you, and for a while I thought you weren't even rapping no more. You know what I mean? And that really fucking sucked. You know what I mean? Because you're a person that I like to have. I have like the 4 or 5 people I must have in my album. You're one of them. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah,
you,
for sure.
Soup. It's just all the people that I'm basically close to and looked after me in the music business.
Yeah,
And so, like, yeah, bro, in my perspective, I was hella happy to make the album because I think we make good shit together. But like I said, I told you directly, and I need to mention it here, is that, when I first started rapping, I was still trying to find my shit. And also, street shit. The first like whatever album by whoever, you know what I mean? It's all like, hardcore street. The first Life Sheep album is super street the way I'm rapping. I'm talking about mob shit and pulling out straps and selling dope and beating people the fuck up and all kinds of shit, which is cool. You know what I mean? It's cool. That's rap, you know what I mean? And I was young, but like, you know what I mean? And then like the next album, well, the Octo Hustle album that we made together, it's a little bit more lyrical. It's kind of the same shit, but it's much more lyrical the way I'm saying it. And then this album, I'm already where I need to be as an artist, in my opinion. So it was cool to make an album where it was just easy now. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's just easy as fuck for me now. And the other thing I said is like, with the beats, like I was saying about the beats, because the beats were on point, it was even easier. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So it really wasn't too much. It was more of an exciting thing to me because, people need to realize that the people that are doing a lot of the work, like, yeah, it's hard to rap. Like, you know what I mean? It's hard to get it down pat and shit like that and do whatever you have to do and build your style. But DEA made all the fucking beats, bro. He mixed and mastered the whole fucking album. And what was it, like 11 times? So, you know what I mean? Like, and to me, that wasn't like a process of like, damn, this fool's mixing it again. That was just like, damn, this fool really cares about the fucking album. He wants it to sound good. And I respect that. And I'm going to run it back as many times as he does to make sure it be like, you know what I mean? And I'm gonna be serious with him because he wants me to be. You know, if there's any type of shit that I think that's too high, I'll be like, yeah, turn the vocal down right here, whatnot, this, that, and that. But yeah, man, it was a good experience. You know, what I mean, it always is a good experience. And yeah, that was my perspective. It was fun. It was fun to write over the beats. Like I like that shit.
But so that brings us up to today. I don't know, did we leave anything out though?
As long as I got all the shout outs out, you know, Crawlla and fucking Lex on shit, which we did. He gave a little shout out to fucking Lace too.
Yep. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Lace,
Lace.
man. But one thing before we wrap this up though, one thing
What's
I
up?
didn't ask you that I did want to ask you, because I know that you're into comic books, is so I should have did this at the beginning, but your top 3 villains.
My top 3 comic book villains? God damn. I'll say Dr. Doom for sure. I'll put him at 1. 2, Magneto. I like that whole Holocaust shit. I thought that was cool. That was pretty sick. And then 3, but see, he's kind of like an anti-villain, so I can't throw him at 3. Damn. You know, Cobblepot. You know, fucking Penguin. I'll say Penguin at 3. Yeah.
All right. And then with that, right? So 2 more questions though. So that was the first one. The second one, if you could have any superpower and why? And it can't be the creepiest one of like going invisible.
Not the Gooner one. Let's see.
Don't be the creepy.
Yeah.
Like, I'd go invisible. Like,
You know what I would be doing? Nah.
like, no the fuck you won't. Hey, no the fuck you won't, sir.
Fucking shit. I'll probably say flying, bro. I feel like flying would be the coolest shit. And then the only reason why would be like for the most wackest reason. See, now I'm getting old and shit. Is just because that'd just be dope to fucking fly from point A to point B. If I want to go to Italy to get some pasta real quick, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just fly and shit. I would probably have to say that would be the coolest fucking. That'd be sick. That'd be dope.
Hey,
as
well,
shit.
you certainly would be fly.
But you know what? Yeah, for real. This guy. Now, and then the other one is, you know what else is sick is, you know what? The regenerated, when you fucking, what is it, regenerate, like fucking Wolverine?
Yeah.
That's pretty sick too, bro.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll throw that one instead of flying. That one's cooler.
All right.
Regenerating.
For sure. And then the last one, this one, for me is an easy one, but we were discussing this the other day, is Marvel versus DC. Well, let's make it easier. Marvel versus DC for comic books, and then Marvel versus DC for like movies.
Okay.
And then Marvel versus DC for like the cartoons.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Marvel versus DC comics, Marvel, 100%. Marvel versus DC movies, I will probably go DC just because I grew up with those Michael Keaton Batman movies were sick as fuck to me. And then I know they're kind of dated, but come on, bro. Jack Nicholson, there's a whole bunch of dope ass people in those movies. And then what was the last one? The last one was
for the cartoons.
Oh, for the cartoons. I'll give it to Marvel. I'll give it to Marvel because like DC has like the Batman sick as fuck. That's sick
the
as
animation
fuck,
on
like,
their school and
it's hella sick.
Design.
I would have to say, yeah, I love that shit. But I would have to say just because I watched so much of like different shit, like the X-Men, that shit was sick. Spider-Man was dope. What else? I even used to like Fantastic Four because I like Dr. Doom and all that shit. And those were all. So that's like 3. It's like 3 against 1, but still that Batman was sick as fuck.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I haven't watched too much other DC cartoons, but
me neither.
I know they got like probably like 5, 6, 7, 8 of the Batman, different random Batmans, and they're
Batman's are sick. It's what's his name too? It's Luke Skywalker fucking playing the Joker, voicing the Joker on the original. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, bro, look it up, bro. It's cool to watch because he'll get all in fucking he'll get all in character, bro, and he'll do the Joker. It's trippy watching what's his name, Mark Hamill, right? Mark Hamill.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all I got for you, bro. Want to give any last shout outs?
You know what, bro? Like I kind of said his name once, but I gotta say shout out to Gemini. You know, not everybody knows him as Grindhouse, but he'll always be Gemini to me. Casualties of Life. That first song, ooh, man, that motherfucker was badass. Yeah, he was actually the first artist that was like established to like actually like reach out to me. It was him and then DEA. You know what I mean? I think I said that wrong earlier and I said that was DEA and then him. It was actually Grindhouse, and then DEA. So I got to give a shout out to him because same thing with DEA. I was literally nobody and just sent an email off, you know what I mean, to this guy that worked with fucking Davina and a whole bunch of crazy ass fucking yuck mouth and all kinds of crazy shit, you know what I mean? And he hit me back, bro. He did a track for me. So shout out to him. Shout out to Two-Face. Shout out to Eddie Vega. Shout out to DEA in the first episode, man.
Hey, we're gonna have to get him on here one of these
Gemini,
days.
yeah, he's doing shit. He'd be down. He'd probably want to exchange.
He's got like a podcast going on right now.
Yep. Shout out to his podcast. I don't remember the name of his podcast, but shout out to Two-Face and fucking their podcast and Gemini's podcast and shit. I know they're doing that thing.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to send out an invite for sure and get him on here.
Shout out to Lexo again. Shout out to Just Nice. Shout out to Crawlla. You know what I mean? Good looking out to A1 Yola, like I said before. That's, you know what I mean? That's about it, man. Those are the people right there. And, you know, shout out to DEA, too. He's another one of my big brothers in the game.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
And you know what? And shout out to motherfucking Darkroom Familia, too, man. Those motherfuckers are OGs, and Duke and Cricket have looked after me for another reason I don't fucking even know. Like, you know, I guess they just like my style. But, like, yeah, bro, shout out to those guys, the OGs in the game, for sure.
Hey, well, interesting thing about that, hopefully everyone you just named we could get on the future episode here.
You know what? The one that would be dope would be Duke or Cricket, because a lot of people want to get them. And I think that I'm cool enough with them that they'll actually do it with me. You know what I mean? Yeah. But, you know, they're busy. They do a lot of, they own Pumpkin Patch Films. So that they own an actual film company. So they're always doing like all kinds of crazy shit with different people. But yeah, we might be able to reel them in, and everybody else. That'd be cool as fuck too. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you hearing, come on the podcast, boy. Feel me?
Hey, everyone out there. Hey, just send us a DM, whatever. We got you. We send you the link. We're going to have to work it out with Stevie Ray's schedule, but I think we'll make it happen for sure.
For sure, man.
All right, bro.